Walter Scott may have been the quiet one, the man in the background with the velvet voice. But what he did behind the scenes? That's the stuff of legends. You think you knew the story of one of R&B's smoothest icons? Think again. When he passed away at 81, the world mourned the loss of a musical giant. But it wasn't until after he was gone that the real story came out. The emotional breakdown of his wife, the secret handwritten letters, and a hidden fortune that shocked even his closest friends. You're not ready for this. He wasn't just part of a legendary group, he was its steady heartbeat. As one half of the twin magic behind the Whispers, Walter Scott helped define an era. Think about it. Rock steady, and the beat goes on. It's a love thing. These weren't just songs, they were anthems. You heard them at family cookouts, weddings, roller rinks, on Saturday mornings when your mom was blasting music while cleaning. His voice didn't shout, it soothed. Smooth, soulful, and always on point. Born in the 1940s in Watts, Los Angeles, Walter grew up surrounded by a changing world. Soul, Motown, jazz. It was all blooming around him. And he didn't just watch it happen, he became part of it. In the 60s, he and his twin brother Wallace, better known as Scotty, teamed up with friends and created the Whispers. No flashy start, no instant fame, just talent, hustle, and that undeniable harmony. They worked their way up through talent shows, nightclubs, community centers. And slowly, that magnetic blend of voices started to catch fire. Walter, even then, was the calm center. He didn't demand the spotlight, he anchored it. While others chased trends, the Whispers stayed true to their sound, clean, polished, timeless. Matching suits, synchronized steps, smooth moves, total class. A modern-day Temptations, but with their own unique flavor. Walter's role? Quiet leadership. On stage, he wasn't flashy. Off stage, even quieter. He let his voice and presence speak for him, and that made fans love him even more. The man was a quiet storm. But while the group's success grew, Walter never let it mess with his head. Fame wasn't the goal, family was. He shielded his loved ones from the chaos of the industry. While his brother often handled interviews, Walter stayed behind the scenes, always putting home first. And now, we know just how deep that loyalty ran. When he passed away on June 26, 2025, fans expected tributes, maybe some behind-the-scenes stories. What they didn't expect was the emotional reveal from his wife. Turns out, Walter had been planning everything for years. Everything. He didn't just leave her memories. He left her a roadmap. She found letters. Real, handwritten letters tucked away in drawers and folders, each one filled with love, advice, instructions, encouragement, timed for the moments he knew she'd need them most. There were notes for when she felt lost, notes for when she had to make decisions, even letters for the kids and grandkids. And then came the shock. Walter Scott had left behind a massive, secret fortune. Not just a savings account, but a whole financial legacy. Real estate bought decades ago in places that have since exploded in value. Royalties from songs still being streamed, sampled, and featured in commercials. Private business investments, publishing rights, even trusts and education funds for the next generation. This wasn't just here's some money. This was blueprint-level planning. His wife broke down, not just in grief, but in awe of how deeply he had thought about the future. She said, "He didn't just leave us music. He left us peace. That's love in its highest form." And the industry? Completely stunned. While so many artists from the 70s and 80s ended up broke due to bad deals and reckless spending, Walter was stacking chips quietly. No Bentleys, no massive mansions, just smart moves, smart money, and a plan that made sure his family would thrive long after he was gone. Turns out, he even fought, quietly, for rights to some of the group's biggest hits. While labels tried to lock down the royalties, Walter negotiated deals to keep partial ownership. So every time Rocksteady plays in a movie or a remix, his family sees a piece of that. And just when you think you've heard it all, he also recorded private voice messages for his family. Just for them. Messages explaining why he made the choices he did, encouraging them to carry on, to build, to protect the legacy. Fans worldwide are still reeling. Streams of Whispers classics skyrocketed, 230% in just 1 week. Social media filled up with people saying things like, "This song was my childhood," or "He had the kind of voice that felt like a warm hug." Even younger R&B artists, BJ the Chicago Kid, Ty Dolla $ign, Anderson .Paak, have shouted him out as an influence. And now tributes are on the way. A Soul Legends special, a scholarship fund in his name to support music students, even a docuseries in early development, with Walter's story at the emotional center. Funny, isn't it? The man who avoided the spotlight in life is now inspiring a new wave of attention in death. But maybe that's what he always wanted. Not fame, but impact. Walter Scott is now being studied as a masterclass in legacy. Not just in music, but in financial literacy, family planning, personal integrity. Young artists are starting to ask themselves, am I building a future like he did? Because that's what legacy really means. Not just what you do, but what you leave behind. And here's one last twist. His wife says Walter had been working on a memoir. It wasn't finished, but he left behind notes, recordings, personal reflections. Now, the family plans to complete it and share his story the way he lived it. Quiet, powerful, intentional. So if you thought Walter Scott was just the guy with the smooth voice, now you know better. He didn't just sing about love, he lived it. He didn't chase fame. He built a foundation. And now that the music has faded, we're finally hearing the full sound of his legacy. Now it's your turn. What did Walter and the Whispers mean to you? Did this story surprise you? Inspired you? Let's talk about it in the comments. Hit that like button if you feel the love. Share this with someone who needs to hear it, and subscribe for more real stories about the legends who didn't just shine, they lasted.